Olivia, a vibrant and stylish young woman, worked as a marketing executive at a small but up-and-coming fashion company in the heart of Shoreditch, London. Her days were filled with the buzz of creativity, surrounded by fabrics, designs, and the constant hum of a city that never slept. It was at a trendy art exhibition in a converted warehouse. Amidst the clinking of glasses and the murmur of art critique, that she first met William. He was a project manager at a large real estate firm, with a sharp suit and an even sharper wit. Their connection was instant, a spark ignited by a shared appreciation for a particularly bold piece of modern art. Their courtship was a whirlwind romance. Filled with stolen kisses in the rain, late-night conversations over takeaway curry, and weekend trips to the countryside. William, with his charming smile and seemingly endless ambition, swept Olivia off her feet. They married within a year, a small, intimate ceremony in a quaint little church in the Cotswolds, surrounded by their closest friends and family. Olivia truly believed she had found her happily ever after. The first few years of their marriage were blissful, a picture-perfect postcard of domesticity. They bought a cozy flat in Shoreditch, decorated it with a mix of vintage finds and modern pieces, reflecting their shared eclectic taste. Olivia would often cook elaborate meals. Experimenting with recipes from Mrs. Davis, her mother's cookbook, while William would regale her with stories of his day, his eyes sparkling with the thrill of closing big deals. However, as time wore on, a subtle shift began to creep into their relationship. William became increasingly preoccupied with work, his phone constantly buzzing with calls and emails. He started coming home later and later, often smelling faintly of expensive perfume that wasn't Olivia's. At first, Olivia brushed it off, attributing it to the pressures of his demanding job. She would try to engage him in conversation, asking about his day, but his responses were often curt and dismissive. "Just work, Olivia. You wouldn't understand," he'd say, his gaze fixed on his phone screen. The warmth that had once characterized their evenings together was replaced by a chilling silence, broken only by the rhythmic tapping of William's fingers on his laptop keyboard. Olivia found herself spending more and more evenings alone, curled up on the sofa with a book. Trying to ignore the growing unease in the pit of her stomach. One chilly November evening, Olivia was preparing dinner, a fragrant chicken curry, hoping to recreate the warmth of their earlier days. William had promised to be home early for once, and she was determined to make it special. As she was stirring the simmering sauce, William's phone, left carelessly on the kitchen counter, buzzed with a new message. Normally, Olivia wouldn't dream of invading his privacy, but a nagging feeling, a sense of dread that had been growing for months, compelled her to glance at the screen. The message preview, visible on the lock screen, sent a jolt of ice through her veins. It was from Scarlett, "Can't wait to see you tonight, my love. Same place, same time. XX." Olivia's hands trembled as she picked up the phone, her heart pounding in her chest. She scrolled through the messages, each one a dagger twisting deeper into her heart. The messages were explicit, filled with intimate details and plans for secret rendezvous. It was undeniable. William was having an affair. The curry, once so fragrant, now seemed to choke her with its aroma. The carefully set table, the flickering candles, the meticulously chosen wine, all symbols of a love that was now revealed to be a sham. Olivia didn't confront William that night. She couldn't. The shock, the betrayal, the sheer magnitude of the deception left her numb. Instead, she went through the motions, a ghost in her own home. She served the curry, made polite conversation, and even managed a weak smile when William kissed her goodnight, his lips tasting of lies. As he slept soundly beside her, Olivia lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Her mind racing. She thought of all the sacrifices she had made, all the dreams she had built around their life together. She thought of the trust she had placed in him, a trust that had been shattered into a million pieces. But amidst the pain and the heartbreak, a new feeling began to emerge, a steely resolve. She wouldn't be a victim. She wouldn't let William's betrayal define her. She would find a way to reclaim her life, her dignity, and her happiness. The next morning, Olivia called in sick to work. She needed time to think, to plan. She spent the day wandering through the streets of London, her mind a whirlwind of emotions. She walked past the art gallery where they had first met. The place that once held such happy memories now seemed to mock her with its reminders of a love that was lost. As she walked, she began to formulate a plan. She wouldn't confront William directly, not yet. She would gather evidence, build a case, and then, when the time was right, she would expose his betrayal in a way that he would never forget. She reached out to her closest friend and co-worker, Chloe. Over coffee at their favorite cafe in Shoreditch. Olivia, through tears, detailed William's betrayal. "Oh Liv, I'm so sorry. That absolute. I can't even find words." "What are you going to do?" asked Chloe, her voice full of anger and concern. I don't know yet. But I won't let him get away with this. He thinks he can just walk all over me, but he's wrong. I may be heartbroken, but I'm not broken," Olivia replied, her voice trembling but firm. "I need to gather hard evidence. I have read messages, but I don't have anything concrete. I'm with you every step. Just say the words." Over the next few weeks, Olivia became a detective in her own life. She meticulously documented William's movements, noting his late nights, his unexplained absences, and his increasingly secretive behavior. She discovered that Scarlett was a freelance model, relatively new to the London scene, and that William had met her at a networking event a few months earlier. She also found out, through careful examination of their joint bank statements, that William had been diverting funds from their shared account into a separate account, an account that Olivia had no access to. It turned out he was using their money to fund risky investments that had gone sour, leaving them in a precarious financial situation. This discovery added another layer to William's betrayal. It wasn't just about infidelity, it was about financial deceit, a violation of the trust that was the foundation of their marriage. The opportunity for Olivia to put her plan into action came sooner than she expected. A few weeks later, a crisp, white envelope arrived in the mail. It was an invitation to William and Scarlett's wedding. The audacity of it took Olivia's breath away. He was marrying the woman he had cheated on her with, and he had the nerve to invite her to the celebration. The invitation was clearly meant as a final insult, a way for William to flaunt his new relationship and rub salt into Olivia's wounds. He wanted her to see him happy, to witness his triumph over her. But William had underestimated Olivia. He had mistaken her kindness for weakness, her love for naivety. He didn't know that beneath the surface of her gentle exterior lay a core of steel, a resilience that he had unknowingly forged through his betrayal. Olivia smiled. A slow, knowing smile that would have sent shivers down William's spine if he had seen it. She would attend the wedding, but she wouldn't be a weeping, heartbroken ex-wife. She would be a force to be reckoned with. Olivia started by reaching out to an unexpected ally, Edward, the CEO of a venture capital firm known for its focus on ethical and socially impactful startups. She had met Edward briefly at a networking event a few months earlier, and she remembered him as being both charming and perceptive. She arranged a meeting with him, explaining her situation and asking for his help. To her surprise, Edward agreed without hesitation. He saw in Olivia not just a woman scorned, but a woman of strength and intelligence. A woman who deserved justice. He offered to accompany her to the wedding, posing as her new partner, a gesture that was both supportive and strategically brilliant. The day of the wedding dawned bright and clear, a stark contrast to the storm brewing within Olivia. She spent the morning getting ready, taking extra care with her appearance. She chose a stunning, form-fitting crimson dress that accentuated her figure and exuded confidence. Her hair was styled in a sophisticated updo, revealing the elegant line of her neck. Her makeup was flawless, highlighting her striking features. She looked in the mirror and saw not the heartbroken woman of a few months ago. But a woman reborn, a woman who was ready to face whatever the day might bring. Chloe, her ever-supportive friend, arrived to help her with the final touches. "Wow, Liv. You look incredible." "William won't know what hit him," Chloe said, her eyes wide with admiration. "It's not about him, Chloe. It's about me. It's about taking back my power," Olivia replied, her voice calm and determined. They arrived at the wedding venue, a luxurious hotel in Mayfair, in a sleek black car provided by Edward. As Olivia stepped out of the car, heads turned. She walked with a grace and poise that commanded attention, her crimson dress a splash of color against the muted tones of the other guests' attire. Edward, tall and distinguished in a tailored suit, walked beside her, his presence adding to her aura of confidence. William, standing near the entrance with Scarlett on his arm, saw Olivia approach. His eyes widened in disbelief, his carefully constructed facade of smug happiness crumbling before her very eyes. Scarlett, a vision in a traditional white gown, looked equally stunned, her perfectly made-up face paling as she recognized Olivia. Olivia greeted William and Scarlett with a cool, polite smile, her eyes betraying none of the turmoil beneath the surface. She handed William an envelope, a seemingly innocuous gesture that held the key to his impending downfall. "Congratulations, William, Scarlett. I wish you both a lifetime of happiness," she said, her voice dripping with subtle irony. William, recovering from his initial shock, managed a forced smile. "Olivia, I didn't expect to see you here," he stammered. "Oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world," Olivia replied, her gaze unwavering. "I always enjoy a good celebration." She and Edward mingled with the other guests, making small talk and accepting congratulations as if they were any other couple. Olivia noticed the curious glances, the whispered conversations, the palpable sense of unease that her presence had created. She knew that everyone was wondering what she was up to, what she was planning. And she was enjoying every minute of it. As the ceremony began, Olivia took her seat, her heart pounding in her chest. She watched as William and Scarlett exchanged vows, their words of love and commitment ringing hollow in her ears. She thought of her own wedding day, of the promises that William had made and broken. She felt a pang of sadness, but it was quickly replaced by a surge of anger, a righteous anger that fueled her determination to see her plan through. After the ceremony, the guests moved to the reception hall, a lavishly decorated space filled with flowers, chandeliers, and the sounds of a string quartet. The champagne flowed freely, and the atmosphere was one of forced gaiety. As the evening wore on, and after the traditional speeches and toasts, Olivia knew it was time. She excused herself from Edward's side and made her way to the stage, where the DJ was setting up for the evening's entertainment. She had arranged with him beforehand to have access to the projector and sound system. With a deep breath, she stepped up to the microphone, the room falling silent as all eyes turned to her. "Good evening, everyone," she said, her voice clear and steady. "I'm Olivia, William's ex-wife." A gasp rippled through the room. William, standing near the bar with Scarlett, froze, his face turning ashen. Scarlett gripped his arm, her knuckles white. "I know this is a bit unconventional," Olivia continued, "but I have a small presentation that I'd like to share with you all. It's a tribute to the happy couple." She nodded to the DJ, who dimmed the lights and started the slideshow. The first image appeared on the large screen behind her, a photograph of Scarlett. Her arms wrapped around a different man, a man who was clearly not William. This was Mr. Thompson, the wealthy businessman. The photo was taken in a dimly lit bar, the two of them locked in a passionate embrace. A collective gasp filled the room. Scarlett gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. William stared at the screen, his face a mask of disbelief and horror. Olivia continued, her voice calm and measured, narrating the slideshow as if she were presenting a business report. "This is Scarlett, our lovely bride, with a close friend, of hers. As you can see, they seem to be very close. The next few images showed Scarlett and Mr. Thompson in various compromising situations. Holding hands, kissing in a park, entering a hotel together. Each photo was a damning piece of evidence, a testament to Scarlett's infidelity. But Olivia wasn't finished. She had saved the best for last. The final image appeared on the screen, a screenshot of William's bank statement, showing the unauthorized transfers to the secret account. The account he had used to fund his failed investments. The numbers were stark, revealing the extent of his financial deception. And this, Olivia said, her voice now edged with steel, is a testament to William's honesty and integrity. As you can see, he's been very busy managing our finances. The room was silent. The only sound the faint hum of the projector. William stood frozen, his face a mixture of rage and humiliation. Scarlett was sobbing, her mascara running down her cheeks. The guests were staring at the screen, then at William and Scarlett, then back at Olivia, their expressions a mixture of shock, disbelief, and morbid fascination. Olivia stepped down from the stage, her head held high. She walked past William and Scarlett without a word, her eyes fixed straight ahead. Edward met her at the edge of the dance floor, his arm outstretched in a gesture of support. They left the reception hall together, leaving behind a scene of chaos and devastation. As they walked out of the hotel and into the cool night air, Olivia finally allowed herself to breathe. The tension that had been building inside her for months finally released, leaving her feeling strangely calm and empty. "Are you okay?" Edward asked, his voice full of concern. "I am," Olivia replied, a small smile playing on her lips. "I really am." They got into the waiting car, and as they drove away, Olivia looked back at the hotel, its windows glowing like the eyes of a wounded beast. She knew that she had just burned a bridge, destroyed a life, and possibly ruined a wedding. But she didn't regret it. She had done what she had to do. She had taken back her power, reclaimed her dignity, and exposed the truth. And in doing so, she had finally set herself free. The next few days were a blur. Olivia's phone rang constantly, messages and calls from friends, family, and even strangers, all wanting to know what had happened, to offer their support, or simply to express their shock and amazement. She ignored most of them, choosing to focus on herself and her own healing. Chloe, her loyal friend, was a constant source of support, helping her to navigate the aftermath of the wedding and to deal with the inevitable legal and financial complications that followed. A week later, she found herself at a familiar place. Her favorite local coffee shop. The cafe was busy, customers enjoying their coffees and catching up on each other's days. Olivia was looking out of the shop's window, sipping her drink, when she heard a familiar voice. "Olivia, it's been too long." Olivia turned around, immediately recognizing her old university friend. Amelia. Amelia, now looked more confident and had an aura of authority about her. They embraced, feeling a sense of closeness, even after all this time. They sat down and Amelia ordered a latte, before turning her attention back to Olivia. "You haven't changed much. Still got your elegant and simple style." She smiled. Olivia returned the smile. "You've changed so much. I almost didn't recognize you. You look great." Amelia laughed. "Well, I'm just trying to keep up with life. I'm so glad to see you. I heard what happened from your mother. I must say, I admire how you handled it." Olivia was a little taken aback. "I don't think I'm as strong as you think I am. I just didn't want to live being hurt. Everyone has a limit. Once you pass it, you will change." Amelia nodded. "I have something important to tell you." Olivia listened attentively. "My organization is launching a project to support women entrepreneurs. We need someone to lead this project, and I thought of you immediately." Olivia was shocked. "Me? But I'm not good at managing or leading. You don't see your own potential. I chose you because of your story. What you've been through, how you rose above it all, that's the biggest inspiration for other women. We need someone with heart, with empathy, with a story to tell. I don't know. I've only just started to rebuild my life. Everything is still very new to me. You don't have to do it alone. You'll have the support of our team and myself. Think about it, if you agree, you will be able to help so many other women. You won't just be working, you'll be making a difference. Olivia, still slightly overwhelmed, but with a feeling of warmth inside, looked at Amelia. I'll think about it. It might just be what I need. Olivia later went to visit her mother, Mrs. Davis, at her small, traditional bakery on the outskirts of London. The aroma of freshly baked bread and sweet pastries filled the air as she stepped inside, a comforting and familiar scent that instantly transported her back to her childhood. Mrs. Davis, a warm and cheerful woman with flour dusting her apron, greeted her with a hug and a kiss. "Olivia, darling. What a lovely surprise," she said, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "I've just taken a fresh batch of scones out of the oven. Your favorite, with clotted cream and homemade jam." They sat at a small table in the corner of the bakery, sipping tea and catching up. Olivia told her mother about the wedding, about Amelia's offer, and about her own uncertain feelings about the future. Mrs. Davis listened patiently, her wise eyes filled with understanding. "You know, Olivia," she said, after a long pause, "life has a funny way of working things out. Sometimes the worst things that happen to us can lead us to the best things. You've been through so much, my dear, but you've come out stronger, more resilient. Don't be afraid to embrace the new opportunities that come your way. You deserve all the happiness in the world." Olivia smiled, her heart filled with gratitude for her mother's unwavering love and support. She realized that her mother was right. The pain of the past few months had been unbearable, but it had also forced her to grow, to change, to become a better version of herself. She had found strength she never knew she possessed, and she had discovered a new sense of purpose. That night, Olivia sat at her desk in her small but cozy apartment and typed a message to Amelia. "I'm in." She looked up at the London skyline, a myriad of twinkling lights against the dark canvas of the night. She knew that the road ahead wouldn't be easy, that there would be challenges and obstacles to overcome. But she also knew that she was ready. She was ready to embrace the future. To embrace her new life, to embrace the woman she had become. The scars of her past would always be a part of her, but they would no longer define her. They would be a reminder of her strength, her resilience, and her ability to overcome even the most devastating of betrayals. Olivia was finally free, and she was ready to soar. And as for William, he would forever be facing the consequences of his actions. He lost his job, reputation, and of course, his bride-to-be.